Hello and happy Friday. I'm Anson and we are in our final week of our fall series 107, where we're looking at all the reasons that we have to be thankful, reasons for Thanksgiving. And this week, Thanksgiving is coming up, so I hope you're ready for the holiday. I hope you've been working on your 107 pocket journal with all the many reasons that we have to be thankful as we've been moving through Psalm 107 together. This has been a great time to stop and consider what it means to be redeemed. This psalm tells us, let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story. So if you're a child of God, if you're a follower of Jesus, then you have a story to tell. And it's a story of redemption. And so through this series, we've seen what that looks like in lots of different ways. Sometimes we get lost and wandering in life, and we need to be redeemed back to a place of home, a place where we can settle. Sometimes we get enslaved to addictions or different things in life where we need to break free, or we feel like we just keep hurting ourselves with foolish decisions. We kind of become foolish in this life, and we need to have our good sense restored to us. Last week we saw how sometimes just in the doing of life, the business that God's called us to, whatever your work is, we get discouraged. We lose confidence. We become insecure when the storms rise and things get chaotic, and we want to be redeemed back to a place of purposeful confidence in what God is doing in us and through us. So lots of different ways the redemption that Jesus brings offers us redemption in the way that we live our lives, as well as ultimate redemption to eternity with God in heaven. So you have a story to tell. And as we wrap up this series this week, the psalmist in the last few verses kind of zooms out and reflects on the various ways that redemption works and talks about in all of these things, God is at work changing things. He changes the circumstances around us. He changes us and what's happening in and through our lives. And it occurs to me, and we're going to talk about this in the sermon on Sunday, that a lot of the things that we want to change, like when we get discouraged in life, we want our circumstances to change. We want the more fruitful land, to use the language of the psalmist. Or we want more blessings in our lives. And so we work desperately to change those kinds of things. But what the psalmist reflects on is really those are things that only God has the power ultimately to change. But we get so desperate in our attempts to change things that we lose sight of what God is doing. And we lose sight of being thankful because we get desperate in our own circumstances. But there is something that we have the power to change, and that is the story that we tell. And it comes back to the beginning of the psalm. Let the redeemed tell their story. And what do we mean by that? Well, when we know Jesus, when we're a child of God, we know something about his power and that he's always at work redeeming us, redeeming the world. And so no matter what we're navigating or going through, it's part of that redemption story. And so this psalm is helping us to kind of come out of our own story, see how God is at work in our lives, and to be thankful, to see and tell how God has been at work in our lives. We get so caught up in the day-to-day, don't we? It's hard to gain perspective sometimes on how God has been at work and how he has changed things in the past for our good, and he will change things in the future for his purposes as well. So we have a story to tell, and we're going to finish our journey through Psalm 107 this weekend. We're going to finish our Psalm 107 pocket journals to prepare for Thanksgiving. And so I hope you'll join us as we wrap up this series together, and as together we prepare to give thanks to God for all the ways that he has been at work redeeming us, redeeming the world, and in the many blessings that he has given us. It's a privilege to do this with you, to study God's word, to learn along with you, and I hope to see you as we continue to do that this Sunday. But until then, have a great weekend.